How you doing, guys? I'm here to give you a little video on something I don't really do very often actually. I'm saying goodbye to my Nash Hover 95. This board has been, it's been a hell of a board to be honest for the last few years. I have treated this board with respect, but also I have treated it pretty badly. I have been wing foiling with this, I have been SUP foiling with this, I have been going hard with this board for a good few years. This board is probably the 2000, I don't even know, maybe it's the 2020 version. So there's been another couple versions up from there since then. But I've just generally been really happy with it. I don't usually do videos about this, about speaking about my old kit and about how happy I've been with them, because eventually, after a couple of years, boards will break and they will go, especially if you treat them maybe as well as I treat them, that's what I'm trying to say. But this Nash really has stood up to some poundings, beastings. I'm talking about jumps with the wing, I'm talking about wing foiling in the surf, I'm talking about learning to really get hold of SUP surf foiling as well. This board has been absolutely great, but it's time to pass it on, to sell it on, to get a new board to replace it. So what board have I replaced it with? Well, let's bring it over. Yes, it's the new Nash Hover wing foil board. Pretty boring, I know, but I just like the simplicity of these boards. This one is very close to the previous year's board. The outline shape is a little bit more pulled in towards the nose. The reason I've chosen this and the reason I stuck with my other Nash for so many years is A, I was really impressed with the build quality of that board, as I've said. This is out of the same factory as that board, so I'm happy to say this board is going to be as strong. If it's not, I will let you know about that in the future. But it's really, I like the way that these boards work. They're not super cut off stubby noses. They look sort of right as you look at them. They work for me really well in the surf as well as for flat water winging. For me, it's got to work both ways. I've got to be able to surf foil it and I've got to be able to wing foil it. It's not just about the winging for me, it's very much about the surf foiling as well. So it's got to have a reduced swing weight, it's got to work well in the waves, it's got to work to pop out over waves, it's got to be able to catch and paddle in and catch waves relatively early as well. I could go a little bit smaller than this. I could probably go around 80 litres. I've used an 82, I think an 85 litre foil board before. Absolutely fine for wing foiling, but it does get more technical for surf foiling. And of course, if you want to take this out, which is what I do with the wing in lighter winds and cross onshore conditions where it's pretty marginable and not very nice, you do need a bit of float to really help you with that. And that is why I select a 95 litre in general, or around 90 litres if I'm looking at other brands. First impressions of the boards, the graphics are subtle. They could be a little bit more spruced up if you ask me, but they do work. They are very crisp, the pin lines all work, and obviously it's really well finished off, and it is, as I said, from the same factory as the previous year's boards. The reason I know that is because how it's packaged. The packaging that these boards come with is fantastic. I like the way that there's no plastic with the packaging at all, via a little bit of tape that's wrapping the paper and the cardboard sort of hex pattern up together. Very strong, well packaged. I really like to see that as well. I really like the way that they have got more foot strap placements on this board compared to previous year's boards. That was the downside to my other board. The back strap, they've actually got the same placements, but you have actually got a raised sort of arch support here under your foot. I did like to use foot straps with my board. I can use them without foot straps, but I do like that security and the big sort of usability foot straps give me, allowing me to get out of way more conditions and also a lot of situations having my feet attached to the board. I have no problem with using foot straps, and I've had no incidences with using foot straps, just in case you're wondering about that as well. As I said, the board's very simple in design. This year's got a small bit of a round V with concaves up on the nose to a flat board back here with big bevels on the side there, so when you do touch down, the board doesn't catch. The fin box, or the foil box, is exactly the same length as the previous year's board, and the back of the board you've got a nice cut-off design, which I really do like, especially for winging and getting up on the foil early in the surf, because I can squash the tail down and I can help initiate that foil, which is a lot easier to do with this cutaway opposed to having a flatter backed boards. And this year's board has got a handle in the top and the bottom, which is nice. Last year's board just had the handle in the top. We've used lots of boards. I've used Starboards, I've used Armstrongs. They're all really good and they have their own sort of pros and cons, but generally I do find this Nash Hover range of boards is just a really solid range of boards that are good for a lot of different foiling disciplines. So if you are interested in buying a Nash last year's board or a couple of years old board, I've hardly ever used it. It's had one lady owner, never been raced or rallied. Please contact me and let me know if you want to buy it. But on a true note, that board has been solid as a rock. I'm super happy with it and I cannot vouch for Nash and their construction on these boards enough. And I'm happy to get onto this one. So look out for some more videos, riding, winging, foiling, all sorts of stuff going on with this board. And of course, if any problems or issues with it, I will let you know. Thanks very much and we'll see you on another video real soon.